Sometimes frugality and saving money goes too damn far. I'm Chelsea Brennan, founder of Smart Money Mamas, and I am not a frugal person. So last night, everybody, I was feeling a little ranty. I call it when I feel a little ranty. And I posted in the Motivated Mama Society, which is our membership community among Smart Money Mamas, and said, guys, I'm feeling a little ranty about how saving money goes too far and holds us back. Do you think I should make a video? And every single one of them was like, yes, we love ranty Chelsea, and we love thinking about things a little bit differently, right? So many personal finance sites talk about all the amazing parts of frugality and saving money and all of these things, right? And that's completely fine. If that's your style, great. But I want to talk about why I am not a frugal person and why I think frugality and extreme couponing and saving a ton of money actually can hold you back from your big money goals and your full potential as a person who wants to build wealth, okay? Now, before we dive in, I want to say that this video is infused with privilege. There are many Americans who need to be incredibly frugal just to make ends meet, and even then it's really hard. If you are one of those people, go on with your bad self, right? Do what you need to do to get safe and comfortable, okay? But try to view frugality, even in this stage of your life, as a means to an end and not an end in itself. Know that this is a phase. This is not something you have to do forever, because otherwise you might get stuck in some of the reasons that I'm going to talk about frugality going too far once you're in a place where you can make more money. Okay? So you ready for my rant? You ready for why frugality can go way too far? Because I got 5 reasons for you. I always have a list of reasons, and I actually probably have 30 reasons for you, but I'm going to limit myself and tell you my 5 reasons. Okay? The first reason is frugality can go too far when it keeps you thinking small. We used to have a phrase, when I used to work in investing, we used to have a phrase of don't pick up pennies in front of a steamroller. And what we were talking about was if you see a company that's going to be in trouble in 6 months, but you think you can make money on the stock or on the debt in the next 3 months, do not pick up pennies in front of a steamroller, right? You're going to time that wrong 90% of the time and get run over. I kind of view parts of frugality as the same way, right? If you are constantly looking for ways to save 5 cents, 10 cents, right? You're cost shopping toilet paper, you're clipping coupons, you're Googling for 30 minutes before you go to the grocery store, trying to find the best coupons and the best deals. You are thinking small. It is keeping you in a scarcity mindset. And what that means is when we look for bigger opportunities, ways we could earn more money, big ways that we could save, right? There are so many people that email us at Smart Money Mamas, and I'm not judging in any way. I think that this is just a way that we talk about money that gets us stuck. But we get so many emails from people of like, how do I save money on my electricity bill? How do I cut back my groceries, right? And we think about this. And these are the same people that when I get deep with them and I start asking questions, they haven't negotiated their car insurance in 5 years, right? And that could save them not $5, but $500, right? They haven't looked at their investment expense ratios and they're paying 1%, 0.75% in asset management fees, and simply going in and changing that, which would be faster, will save them more money than trying to penny pinch groceries or their electricity bill, right? Not that groceries don't have a lot of fat in them, they normally do. But when we're only thinking of the little things, when we're only looking at the tiny purchases we make and trying to make optimizations there, we get stuck in that small brain. And so I want you to think bigger, right? I want you to think about where can we save huge amounts of money? Where could we, really change things where we refinance our house or maybe we downsize our house if our values aren't tied into having a bigger house, and save a lot of money instead of picking up pennies in front of a steamroller, right? We miss opportunities when we think so small. The second reason frugality can go too damn far is when it wastes your time. Not just the searching, not just the price comparison shopping, not just following the blogs that have coupon matches and all of those kind of things. I'm talking about people who reach out to us and say, I never want to do grocery delivery or grocery pickup because I'd have to pay $8 for pickup, and I don't want to do that. Ignoring the fact that there's 2 things there. One, maybe that $8 saves you $20 every single week because you're not in the grocery store making impulse purchases, arguing with your kids about that snack they want for their lunchbox, and oh my God, just put it in the cart so that we can get out of here, right? You're not doing that. But you're also not shopping. And so if grocery delivery, grocery pickup saves you an hour, 2 hours, what could you do with that time? And there are certain people, there are hustle culture people who will tell you, Well, let's think of the cost benefit analysis. Let's say 2 hours you don't have to go to the grocery store every week. You could hustle. You could do a side hustle. You could, invest time in, growing your skill sets or growing your assets or whatever it is. And that's fine. If you're someone who's saying, I really want a side hustle, I really want to start a business, I really want to start a website, let's think about how you could use your money in a way that maybe you spend a little bit more, but yeah, you can make time in your life for the things that matter. But on the flip side, moms in particular, we do not spend enough time on self-care. We don't get enough sleep. We don't get enough alone time. We don't get enough time to read books or watch TV or do whatever the hell we want to do. And so think about it this way too when you think about that cost benefit analysis. 2 hours you don't have to go to the grocery store. Could you take a nap? Could you read a book? Could you take a bubble bath? What could you do? And would that time that you got to relax make you more productive at work? Make you be willing to raise your hand for a new opportunity? Would it mean that you argue less with your kids or that you can actually make dinner when the groceries arrive at the house because you're not exhausted from grocery shopping and you got to take a nap, right? Prioritizing how we use our time and how we take care of ourselves and invest in ourselves, that doesn't always equal spending the least amount of money. Often it doesn't. I mean, we hear from people sometimes that they're like, I go to 3 or 4 grocery stores to make sure that I get the best price. And all I can think is, oh my God, that is a lot of time. And if you have to do that, great. But think about things a little bit differently. Think about what time am I buying and what could I do with it? And not just from a productivity standpoint, but from a self-care standpoint, from a how my brain works standpoint, and can I have a break? Okay? That's when I think it goes too far. Especially when you've gotten out of that place where you actually have a little bit of money to outsource a little bit, right? To automate, to say, okay, all the stuff that I buy on a regular basis, shampoo, paper towels, toilet paper, whatever, I'm going to put on subscribe and save through Target or Amazon, and it's going to arrive at my house every time I need it, right? I'm going to chart the first time, how long does it take me to go through a stick of deodorant, a thing of shampoo, and then I'm going to set up my subscribe and save. Yeah, it's going to take me a little bit of time the first time, but then I'm never going to have to think about it again. What does that do for my headspace and my time and my productivity in the future, okay? And so that's where I don't want you wasting that time. I'll tell you a little bit of a story, okay? I had a manager when I worked in investing. This woman was a managing director. I got paid stupid money. She got paid stupid money, okay? We're talking like probably 7 figures, easy. But she grew up in a house where scarcity was a thing. And so frugality had become part of who she was, and she couldn't break away from it, right? She'd gotten stuck in that scarcity mindset. So here's this woman making 7 figures, price comparing toilet paper. And I don't mean like brand to brand, like this one's a little bit cheaper. I mean the number of squares of toilet paper that she got, the price comparison getting the cheapest one. And her mother and me and all of these people were like, just find your favorite brand and buy the toilet paper. Like, let that go. Let that mental space go. And I know that that's a mindset problem. And maybe that's your thing too, is that you've been in a scarcity, frugality place for so long, you can't think about it differently. But I want you to consider your time. Part of building wealth, part of figuring out who you want to be in the life you want to live is giving yourself permission to prioritize your time. Okay, so that's reason number 2. Frugality can go too far when it wastes your time. The third reason frugality can go too far, and I am loving this rant, I'm having so much fun, I hope you're enjoying listening to this. The third way frugality goes too far is when it takes you away from your values. About a year ago, a little over a year ago, I was listening to a video from a couponing blogger, and she started talking about the math that she did if you bought paper plates, paper napkins, and paper cups with coupons versus having dishes and washing them. So she was calculating the price of the water to run the dishwasher, water and electricity to run the dishwasher, and the soap that goes in the dishwasher versus using paper plates. And she figured out that if you used coupons, you could get all the paper products for cheaper and then you wouldn't have to wash dishes. So really, you should just use paper. I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, okay, so maybe we save $3 over the year, but the environment, oh my God, so much waste. And I was horrified for myself. Now, maybe that's not her priority. Maybe the environment's not her priority. I do think the environment should be everybody's priority, but that's my own bias, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, when we start to make saving money a game, something that is an end in itself, and we forget the point, We forget that frugality at its beginning was supposed to get us the things we wanted in life. It was supposed to give us more space to do what we needed to do, right? And so when we let frugality and saving money take us away from who we are and what we want, that's when we get into trouble, right? So maybe invest a little bit more in reusable paper towels. We love Marley's Monsters, great little company. We get their paper napkins and we get their cloth napkins that replace our paper napkins and cloth paper towels, right? Do we have to wash them? Are they a little bit more expensive? Yeah, but then we don't have as much waste, and that makes us feel good. When I go to buy a book, do I go and check if it's in my local bookshop first? Of course I do, because it is important to me that those bookshops continue to exist. Do I have to pay a little bit more? Yeah, but I'm okay with that. I've prioritized it in my budget so that I can align with my values. My husband and I have this conversation all the time. He's a big board gamer. We actually both love board games, so he's bigger into it than me. And there's a whole phrase in the board game community called your friendly local game shop, right? These small stores that sell board games that often have places that you can play board games and get snacks and meet up with new friends to play games. They're amazing little places. But Amazon and Barnes & Noble to some extent are doing a lot of stuff to undercut the pricing of board games, right? You'll actually see Amazon go through periods of time with popular games where for like a week, they'll drop the price by like 40% and advertise it. And the point of this, from an Amazon Barnes & Noble perspective, is to put friendly local game shops out of business. And so my husband is in that community, and he's like, even if it means you buy one less game this year, buy it at your local game shop, because you're going to be sad when they go out of business, right? And so frugality is fine. And if you need to do it for a certain period of time, fine. But keep in mind your values and keep in mind quality, right? Yes, board games are a bad example because the game is the same regardless of where you go. But it's not a bad example in the fact that when we go to our friendly local game shop, they recommend new games for us. They're willing to teach us how to play new games. We can meet people to play games with, not during COVID, but you know what I'm talking about. And that all has value. It's the same thing when it comes to things like work boots, right? Yeah, you could go buy a $30 pair of work boots at, price wherever, some discount shoe store, and buy them every single year. And that would be cheaper than buying $150 really good work boots that last for 5 years. But you will spend more money by buying them every year than if you just got good ones that actually protected your feet and meant you had less ankle injuries and all that kind of things. Work boots was another strange example for a working mom and mom site, but we're going to go with it because work boots are one that comes up a lot, especially for people who are first breaking out of frugality, right? If you are someone or your spouse is someone who works in a trade or who works outside, good quality is often better than getting the best price. So that's the third reason, when it takes you away from your values. And I was going to move on to point number 4, but I want to bring up an example that it comes up often, and it's food. When we think about groceries, right? And we will see these articles of, I feed my family of 6 on $250 a month. Fantastic. But some people look at that and they read it and they see the article says, well, we don't think organic is a thing. We are happy to feed our kids, chicken nuggets and mac and cheese every night. And that might not be your values. And maybe that's fine for your family, and great. Make choices that align with your values. But if healthy food is a priority, let it be something that you spend more money on. That's okay, right? We have to know what our values are and not let the goal of saving money for the sake of saving money get in the way of that. So the fourth reason frugality can go too far is when it keeps you from investing in yourself. This is unfortunately one we hear a lot, and we hear a lot with women, which is, I really want to buy this course. I really want to learn how to be a VA, but I'm a frugal person. So I'm going to go and I'm going to look on their website for their free content. I'm going to listen to their podcast episodes. I'm going to just try to find a good book about it, right? And this does a lot of things. One, it wastes your time. We can go back to step 2, right? This is wasting your time. There are courses that exist that are really good for things like this that are going to walk you through every single step of what to do, and you're not going to have to deal with excess content, right? You're going to go through step by step what to do. Waste your time. It also keeps you from taking action, right? It's so easy to say, well, I'll go find some free content. I'll go, figure out each step on my own. And then it gets exhausting and we can't find exactly the right thing. And then so we never do it. How often have you done that, right? If you want to spend money on bettering yourself, whether that means your own self-care, whether that means how you make money, whether that means advancing your career, that should be a priority. And that's an okay thing to spend money on for a lot of different reasons. Like, here's one, okay? We can talk about yoga for a second, right? This is one that's come up a lot. Now, 2020, this is a hard example for this year because a lot of us are going to yoga studios. Yoga studios aren't really open. But so many people will email us or reach out and say, I love to do yoga, but there's so many good free yoga videos online and it feels silly to go to a class. And so I've just been following these YouTubers and doing yoga online. If you still actually do yoga a couple times a week doing that, power to you, you're amazing. If you don't do it, or you do it with the wrong form because there's not an instructor there to correct you, or you miss the community of those people, and so you do it for a week or two, but then you stop because it's kind of boring and kind of lonely, and so then you just don't do yoga anymore, that is not an effective use of your money. It's not an effective use of prioritizing and investing in yourself. There's so much demonization of gym memberships and yoga studios and all these kind of things that if you use them, and that's a big if, I know that, but if you use them, it's an investment in you, investment in your health. And we talk about money. An investment in your health is probably the best ROI you're ever going to get, mostly because the healthcare system in the US is pretty broken, but also because it improves your happiness and productivity and your ability to build wealth and earn money and stick around, right? God forbid. But the other reason is we all want to learn from people, right? We want to learn from these influencers and business owners that we follow. We love them. We think they're, we're virtual friends with them. I have so many virtual mentors that don't even know I exist, right? But if we don't invest in their content, if we don't invest in ourselves, they will cease to exist. They are businesses, just like anything else. And so this comes back to step 3 with our values. It is okay to support businesses and people that you believe in and that help you. It is not a big benefit to ignore, to only take their free content because you're saving money, right? It doesn't help you. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help the whole cycle keep going. Okay. And so I say that in a frame of mind of like, there are some really amazing, I am a person that if I see a course or a membership or a community that I know I can use and that will help me be better, be a better parent, be a better entrepreneur, be a better spouse, I will invest in it. Now I won't invest in every one because I have to prioritize my time. I have to know, what instructor aligns best with me, what community aligns best with my values. You don't do every one, but you do the ones that you love to help you get to where you want to go and invest in yourself. Frugality so often gets people caught in this like, well, I can't spend money on that. Like I'm cutting my budget. I can't spend money on that. Prioritizing growth is a really important thing. And so sometimes you'll see a course, right? Or you'll see a membership community. Let's use Motivated Mamas for a second, even though it's not even open right now. So I'm not advertising it at the moment, but like Motivated Mama Society is $29 a month. And some people will say $29 a month feels like a lot. It's really blocking me up, right? I don't know if I can spend that money. Not blocking me up in a like financial perspective, but in a mental perspective, like spending this money on this community. But then you get in there and you find out there are women saving hundreds of dollars a month. One woman saved $2,000 her first month in the community because she figured out something that she was doing wrong, that she was able to save $2,000 when she corrected it, okay? When that happens, the ROI is extreme, right? And so we have to think about ROI and not just financial ROI, right? Motivated Mamas and things like entrepreneurship and side hustle courses, those are ROI based, but also personal lifestyle ROI. Are you happier? Are you healthier? Are you in a better headspace when you go to your job, when you approach your kids? And what does that do to your life as a whole and your ability to build wealth in a way that feels good to you, right? And so I don't like when frugality keeps us from investing in ourselves. The last way, the 5th way that frugality goes too far, and this is so hard. This is so hard. But frugality goes too far when it makes you feel guilty for spending money on things that bring you joy. This is where we get caught up. This is where I've been caught up as someone who is a oversaver, a compulsive saver is what I call it. For someone who has a lot of trouble spending money, even when I have money to spend, this is the place where we forget that money is a means to an end and not an end in itself. And that we are doing all this work. We are building wealth and saving money to build a life that we want and afford a life that we want. And that means actually allowing ourselves to spend money when it comes to things that we value. And that doesn't mean on everything. I'm not over here like throwing cash around at whatever. But if it is something that makes you happy, even something that you might be written off as frivolous by somebody else, you have to do it. That's the time. Okay? And you have to enjoy it when you do it. I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago, I went on Etsy and I spent $75 on two t-shirts and a sweatshirt from this Etsy shop that makes t-shirts and sweatshirts about different fandoms, right? So there's this book series that I love called The Throne of Glass, and I love books, and so she makes different stuff about both that series and just books in general. And I saw it and I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, is it a lot to pay for a couple of shirts? Maybe. Depends on what you think. To me, I saw them and I said, every time I put that shirt on, I will smile. It will make me happy. And so I'm going to buy it. I had money in my spending money. I had prioritized this. Like I get to do things that are a little frivolous and fun, and I spend money on them. And so if you are saving all this money, if you're making more money, if you started a side hustle, if you've broken yourself out of the total, hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck cycle, now is the time to learn how to embrace some abundance, how to let you use your money for what it was meant to be used for, which is creating a good, stable, healthy, fun life for you. And so this is a mindset shift. We talk about mindset a lot here. We talk about money stories, but this is a place where you're going to have to do some work. What is blocking you from spending that money? And it might be, and for a lot of people it is, that frugality has become part of who you are, part of your personality, and you can't imagine doing anything different. And so you have to start to ask yourself, what do I want my relationship with money to be? What do I value and prioritize, and how am I going to spend that money? So frugality. I'm not a frugal person. I'm not. We have someone who comes and helps clean the house. We do grocery pickup. I order $75 of t-shirts on Etsy, right? Now, we still save money. We still prioritize our emergency fund and our retirement savings and our future goals, right? We've done all those things. I still invest in myself with our business, all of the things that we need to do. But I get the things that I want and I align my spending with my values. And so what can you do differently? What if frugality has gone too far for you? What if you're wasting time price shopping and coupon shopping and getting stressed out about spending money when you need to spend money? What can you do instead? The first thing I want you to do is figure out what you value. What matters to you? What is your life? What does your ideal life look like? What do you spend money on? What do you not spend money on? What kind of companies and charitable organizations do you support? Write it down on paper. Get your values clear. Figure out the relationship you want to have with money, okay? This is going back into your mindset, assessing your money story. What have you learned from childhood? What are your limiting beliefs? Do you think that if you spend money on yourself and a little bit of joy, it's going to come back to bite you? Like there's going to be some karmic balance that you're going to get some major bill the day after you spend a little bit of money on yourself. Some people truly believe that. I did for a really, really long time. And what can you do to change that? Right? And so maybe that's journaling every morning some way that you're grateful about money. Maybe that's, a daily mantra that you are safe and secure, that you have your emergency fund, that you're doing the right things, and you deserve to enjoy the money that you've set to enjoy. And then I want you to look at your budget. Just because I'm not a frugal person does not mean I'm not a budgeter. I love budgeting. I've always budgeted. I use You Need a Budget. It's fantastic. I've budgeted every dollar we've ever made in there. But your budget is really a spending plan. It's really deciding where do you want your money to go and how is it going to work for you. And so taking your values and your money mindset, bring them into your budget and say, okay, where am I spending money on things that it's just because I'm supposed to spend money on them, or because that's what we've always done and I've just never thought about it before and maybe I don't need that anymore, right? Figure out what things you can cut and then make space for the things that matter to you. And I want every single smart money mama, I want every single one of you to have an investing in me budget. And this is a sinking fund. And so if you guys don't know what a sinking fund is, you add a little bit of money to it every single month. And it adds up, it builds up. And so when you need it, it's there. But you're not necessarily spending from it every month. But I want every single smart money mama to have a sinking fund for investing in myself. And when you see something that can make you happier, make you find ways to make money in ways that bring you joy and purpose, right? That can advance yourself, that can make you feel like you're learning a new skill and feel like yourself, right? Even if there's not necessarily an immediate money ROI to it. I want you to have that budget to spend because you don't know what's going to come up. You don't know what's going to launch or that you're going to hear about or your friend's going to take. Or they're going to, say, hey, I signed up for this new yoga studio and I'd really love if you came with me every Tuesday. And your brain is like, oh my gosh, it would be really good for me and my body to do yoga and to see my friend every week. And maybe we could, take a walk after yoga together and catch up. And that would be a really good thing. And good thing I have my investing in me budget to put towards some yoga classes with my friend, right? Have an investing in you budget. Frugality is a stage of life for a lot of us. There's a period of time where we don't have enough, where we're trying to get out of debt, where we really just need to make ends meet. And in those cases, frugality can be a beautiful thing. It can help us get to the next stage. But when we're at that next stage, when we're a little bit safer, it's time to start to think about what our money is for and not get stuck in wasting our time, thinking small, breaking away from our values just for the sake of saving money. It's not the goal. Sometimes frugality can go too damn far. And what you should do instead is align your money with what you want and who you are. You can do it. I can't wait to see where, drop in the comments here, guys. Clearly, this is just all off the cuff, ranty Chelsea, but drop in the comments a time that frugality or saving money has gone too far for you, a time that it's wasted time or taken you away from something that you wanted, or really just maybe ultimately gave up an opportunity cost you didn't notice till after. Share, and then share how you're going to better align your money with what you want, because you can afford a life that you want. You cannot buy everything, right? None of us have unlimited funds, but you can make space for the things that you want. You're incredible. Keep being smart with your money. We'll talk soon.